Do you ever lie awake at night staring at the ceiling with this feeling of impending doom? Or do you walk through your day feeling like you're under constant stress and feel overwhelmed? And you have this sense of unease that you can't seem to shake? If you're nodding along, I want you to know two things. First off is that you're not alone, and secondly is that you're not broken. That feeling of being perpetually on isn't just in your head, it's a very real physical state. Your body is likely swimming in the stress hormone cortisol, and that hormone is going to trap your body in this brutal cycle of anxiety by day and exhaustion by night. It's that awful tired and wired feeling. You're desperate for rest, but your mind won't switch off. This is your body's ancient survival system that's stuck in overdrive. But here's the good news, is that you can flip that switch and you can shift your body back into a more relaxed and peaceful state. And in this video, I'm going to share 7 simple natural ways to lower your cortisol, calm your nervous system, and finally get the deep restorative sleep you've been dreaming of. And I can tell you from personal experience, it can happen, because for years I had this nagging feeling of angst in my chest, and no matter what I did, I just couldn't shake it. And there were many nights where I'd wake up at 3:13 every night, and sometimes I couldn't fall back asleep. And I used to think that 5.5 hours, maybe 6.5 hours of sleep was maybe all that I needed. Now I sleep 7 to 7.5 hours almost every night. And I remember trying everything, the supplements, the biofeedback, the brain apps, but what I found was I had to really look at what was driving my stress. And for me, it's the first and most powerful tip that doesn't involve a pill or a fancy gadget that can help lower your cortisol. And the first tip is to challenge your beliefs. See, the majority of stress that you experience starts with your thoughts, and your thoughts are derived from your beliefs. And therefore, your beliefs literally change your body's chemistry. These hidden, unconscious, fear-based beliefs, often formed years ago, can keep you stressed and firing those stress hormones at high levels. The issue I had is I didn't realize that the anxiety I was feeling was caused because of my underlying fears. See, fear is what is stressing us out. You know, when we talk about anxiety, I feel like it's sometimes this ambiguous term that we're not quite sure what we can put our finger on, but I can tell you the majority of anxiety we experience is fear. See, you are fearful that you're not going to get everything done that you need to get done. You're fearful that you will fail or be seen less than. You're fearing that you won't have enough money, or you have a fear that something is terribly wrong with your health. We need fear to motivate us. But when fear is too high for too long, it starts to be damaging. Of course, life can be difficult, and there are going to be difficult things that should stress us out. But unfortunately, even after those events have passed, we're still stuck in this chronic cycle of stress. And for me, the shifting principle that changed things for me is when I started to realize that it's not life that's so stressful, but what I thought about life that was so stressful. Think of it this way. If you believe all dogs are dangerous, your heart will pound the moment that you see a poodle. Now, your body's reacting to the belief or the fear, but not actually the poodle. In the same way, if you're holding on to a deep-seated belief that the world is unsafe or it's not secure, or that you're destined to fail, your body will exist in a state of constant low-grade fear. That chronic stress is what keeps your cortisol elevated, and that's wrecking the natural hormone rhythm that allows for sleep. So become a detective of your own mind. When you feel that anxiety creeping in, ask yourself this: is this thought 100% true? See, fear can stand for false evidence appearing real. So think about it. How many times have you had a fear thought that never materialized, right? I like to tell patients that 99.9% of what we fear never happens, but it makes us miserable 100% of the time. So the next time that you have a fear thought, ask yourself, is there another way that I can look at this? And how much of this thought is actually true? By consciously questioning and reframing these thoughts, you can start to dial down the cortisol surges that are keeping you up all night. Start small. Each day, just pick one fear-based thought and challenge it. This one practice can be the absolute game changer. Also, understand that our unconscious minds are always listening and scanning the world for threats, and therefore, many of the fears are formed from what we see on social media and TV. So it may be helpful to turn off these outlets. If you find that they're driving you to a more unhealthy belief system about how bad the world just is and the problems that we face, it may be time to turn it off. Because if you look outside right now, what do you see? Are there any fires, any robberies happening, any shootings? See, media exists for only one thing. It's to get more viewers. And there's nothing more attention getting than fear. And it's been said, if it bleeds, it leads. And so much of our media is designed to activate the fear response to ensure that we stay tuned in order to stay safe. Think about it. How many times have you heard it on TV? Watch tonight at 6 to learn about the dangers that your kids are being exposed to at school. See, all these negative headlines are inputs into your subconscious brain, and it can really start to affect the way that you see the world. And you can start to see this world as a threat instead of a place where we have connections, relationships, have adventures, and it's a great place of beauty and full of wonderful people. And as I'm saying this right now, if you're really questioning this idea that the world is an amazingly great place, maybe that is the reason that you're stuck in a state of chronic stress. So really start to question, what do you believe about this world and yourself? Are the thoughts that you have mostly negative and fear-based, or can you see just how amazing the world and you are? If challenging your unconscious thoughts is step one, meditation is how you get to the subconscious fears that are running the show. For most of us, the stress response is so automatic, it's so ingrained into us that we don't even notice it's happening until we're wide awake at 3 a.m. with a racing heart. Now, meditation's the practice of taking a step back and just observing your thoughts. So instead of getting swept away by them, this practice has a profound effect on resetting your entire nervous system. Study after study shows us that mindful practices can significantly lower your cortisol levels, especially for people dealing with stress and anxiety. So when you meditate, you're literally retraining your brain to stop identifying with every anxious thought. You start to create this buffer, a space between the scary thought and your body's panicked reaction. This doesn't have to be some hour-long ordeal. See, the key here is consistency, not duration. Just sit in silence for 5 to 15 minutes a day, and it doesn't have to be every day, but the key is to try to do it on a regular basis, say maybe 4 to 7 times a week. And the goal of meditation is to interrupt the runaway train of your worrisome mind. So you're going to unattach from the subconscious primal thoughts that are flooding your brain, those unconscious primal fears, and then you're going to consciously choose to focus on the present moment instead. So you're going to focus on your breath. You're going to focus at the spot that you're staring at on the wall. You're going to focus on your butt bones, whatever it does to take you back to the present moment and not the thoughts about the past regrets and failures or the future potential threats or things that need to be done, but the current moment, the now. This present time consciousness is going to keep you from getting swept up in your imagination. And this regular practice teaches you how to maintain focus on what you consciously want to focus on and teaches you to ignore those fear thoughts, because those thoughts will never go away and they will literally ruin your life. But your ability to not associate with those thoughts as frequently will diminish over time if you practice meditation. And I often tell patients that the quality of your life will be determined by the quality of the thoughts that you associate or engage with. So if your brain is throwing out idiotic things to be scared of, the more you can ignore those thoughts and move on with your life, the better it will be. And meditation's how you get better at learning to drop a thought. Now, in the comments below, I have linked a pinned comment where you can get a free chapter from my new book, Revitalize 360. This chapter is called Unlock Your Healing Brain. And in this chapter, I break down a lot more detail on how to meditate correctly, the purpose and intention that you should have when meditating, and what you can do during meditation to enhance its effects to really relax your nervous system. So go check it out and get that download now. This next tool is one of the fastest ways to directly tell your body to calm down, and it's your breath. Most of the time, we're taking short, shallow breaths from our chest, which basically signals alert, alert to our nervous system. But deep, intentional breathing does the exact opposite. Slow breathing directly stimulates a critical nerve called the vagus nerve. Think of the vagus nerve as the superhighway for your body's rest and digest system, that parasympathetic nervous system. When you activate it, you send a powerful, all-clear signal to your entire body. Your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure drops, your adrenal glands ease up on producing the cortisol, and a ridiculously simple, effective technique is the 5-second breathing, where you just inhale gently through your nose for a count of 5, and then you exhale slowly out of your mouth for 5. And I actually do this rhythmic breathing along with my meditation practice, and it's a really great way to reactivate that rest and digest nervous system response. A few minutes of this before bed can be the difference between tossing and turning and sinking into deep restorative rest. The next tip is to move your body to burn off stress hormones. When your body's flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, it's getting ready for intense physical action, to fight a predator or run for your life. The problem is in our modern world, the predator is usually an email or a bill. So all that physical energy gets trapped inside your body, leaving you feeling agitated and anxious. See, regular physical activity is nature's way of burning off those excess stress hormones. You don't have to run a marathon to get the benefits. Even a gentle walk can help metabolize that nervous energy and promote better sleep. Exercise not only helps lower cortisol over time, but it also boosts endorphins, your brain's natural mood lifters. And the trick is to find movement you actually enjoy so you'll stick with it. Now, I do have a warning for some of you. If you're already working out a ton and you're doing high intensity workouts or very long runs, that can sometimes be too stimulating for the nervous system. And you should try taking a break for a while if you're having troubles with your sleep and stress. Try maybe weightlifting or yoga for a change of pace. Now, the best activities to lower stress are activities like dancing, yoga, or going for a walk in nature. Getting outdoors in particular is a fantastic way to calm the mind and reduce cortisol. And another tip is to listen to your body. On super stressful days, a restorative walk might do you more good than a high-intensity gym session. The goal is to release tension, not add more stress to it. And the next tip is stop fighting with your sleeplessness. This might sound completely backwards, but one of the best things you can do when you feel stressed or can't sleep is stop fighting it. Think about it. How many times have you laid in bed clenching your jaw thinking, I have to fall asleep or tomorrow will be ruined, only to feel yourself getting more wired? That struggle, that resistance, is a form of stress itself. As Carl Jung said, the Swiss psychiatrist, what you resist often persists. The more that you try to wrestle with your anxiety, the more anxiety you're going to have. The more you flee fear, the more fear you're going to have. The more you try to force yourself to sleep, the more danger signals you're going to send to your brain. And what does your brain do when it senses danger? It pumps out more cortisol, making sleep practically impossible. So you end up creating a second layer of stress that just fuels the first layer. The alternative is to call a truce, and it's to practice acceptance. When you find yourself awake or worrying, just acknowledge it without judgment. Say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling stressed out right now, and my body's struggling to relax. And that is okay. One of my favorite healing words is it's okay. The more that you say that, the more that your subconscious is going to hear that, and the more it's going to calm down and relax, and it's going to stop presenting you ideas to be fearful of. So practice the word, it's okay. By accepting that moment instead of battling it, you can take the fuel off the fire. This simple shift in mindset can allow your nervous system to finally settle down, creating the space for sleep to arrive on its own. And one of the things that I do when I do wake up is I simply start meditating with my eyes closed. I focus on my breath and my mind starts to wander, but then I simply bring it back to refocusing on my breath, and within a few minutes I fall back asleep. And if I don't fall back asleep, no big deal. After a few minutes, I might decide to listen to a book if I have an Audible, or listen to a boring podcast, but I don't fight it or get upset. And this, I'm telling you, has been a huge game changer for me. Now, the next tip to lower your cortisol is to build your resilience muscle. Our first instinct is often to avoid everything that stresses us out. I know I've been guilty of this as well, but the more we give in to our fears, the more fears we'll have. And constantly running from stressors can actually make us less able to handle daily challenges that are eventually going to be unavoidable. A much better long-term strategy is to intentionally build resilience to stress. Think of it like a muscle that gets stronger with use. This idea is sometimes called stress inoculation. It's about gradually and intentionally exposing yourself to manageable challenges. This is going to send a powerful message to your brain and your body, I can handle this. It could be something physical, like a 30-second cold shower, or something psychological, like finally making that phone call that you've been dreading. And again, I have more ideas about how you can do this in my free chapter of my book. And again, the link is pinned in the comments below. But what's great about this stress inoculation is that each time that you navigate a small manageable discomfort, you're literally rewriting your beliefs about what you're capable of accomplishing. You're training your nervous system, that subconscious, to be less reactive. And over time, your body learns that not every challenge is a 5-alarm fire. And you're changing your story from someone who avoids stressor to someone who is up for the challenge. And this change in your self-belief can change your life, because the story we tell ourselves ultimately becomes our reality. After a while of building your resilience muscle, you will find that when big life stressors hit, your cortisol stress response is nothing like it used to be. Just know that over time, you can become stronger and more stress tolerant if you believe that you can become more stress tolerant and you actually work towards that goal. And now, number 7, the final tip is make sure your biology isn't stressed. See, stress comes at us in 4 forms: emotional, the physical aspects of stress, environmental stress, the toxins in our environment, the air quality, and then the 4th stress is biological stress, the things that are going on in your physiology of your body. And that's one of the great things about being a functional medicine provider, is that I have access to testing where I can find out where people's stressors might be hiding in their biology. And when we find these stressors, they're often making things more stressful for them in their emotional world, because we know that our psychology affects our biology and our biology affects our psychology. And so for me, when I did my testing, I found that I had lower pregnenolone levels. Now this is pregnenolone, not progesterone, so don't get it mixed up. But pregnenolone is a neurohormone, meaning it has a big impact on our nervous system, especially that of the brain. And when it's low, it's been linked to reduced stress tolerance in patients. It's been linked to cognitive decline, memory, and mood changes. So when I started supplementing with this hormone, it completely changed how stress impacted me. And after testing thousands of patients, we found it's often on the lower end of normal or even below lab acceptable values in so many people. And then they've done studies on this hormone and found that pregnenolone could help patients who are trying to stop drinking, patients suffering with schizophrenia, depression, and anxiety. So definitely get that tested. We also find that patients have troubles with other hormonal insufficiencies or hormonal excess and things like testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, DHEA, and when imbalanced can create a constant undercurrent of anxiety. Because when our hormones are out of balance, it can make everything feel more overwhelming than it needs to be. And through comprehensive testing, I can identify nutrient deficiencies that directly impact your stress response, like magnesium, B vitamins, or vitamin D, all of which play a crucial role in our nervous system function and sleep quality. Sometimes what feels like stress is actually your body crying out for specific nutritional or hormonal support that it's been missing out on for months or even years. I also look for hidden inflammatory triggers like gut imbalances, autoimmune markers, HSCRP markers, or even chronic infections that keep your immune system on high alert. See, when your body's constantly fighting low-grade inflammation, it's like having your stress alarm stuck in the on position, making it nearly impossible to achieve that deep restorative sleep that your body craves. And that's the beauty of functional medicine, is that we don't just treat symptoms, is that we find and address the root causes. Once we identify what's specifically stressing your unique body, we can create a targeted protocol with precise supplements, dietary adjustments, and lifestyle modifications that actually work with your biology instead of against it. This is a personalized approach that often makes the difference, and it's definitely changed my life and thousands of our patients' lives. If you're ready to dive deeper and would like to learn more what it would like to work with us, I invite you to check out my 5 Pillars of Healing video, and you'll find the link in the description below. If today's video was helpful, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe for more practical ways to take back your health. I'd also love to hear from you. Which of these 7 strategies hit home the most for you? Which one of them are you going to try first? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your journey could be the inspiration someone else needs to see today. So here's the main thing I want you to remember. You have way more power over your body's stress response than you think. Real resilience isn't about trying to build a life with zero stress, because that's impossible. It's about transforming your relationship with stress by challenging your thoughts, using your breath as an anchor, moving your body, practicing acceptance. You can literally shift your system out of a chronic state of emergency and into a state of rest and repair. You're not doomed to a life of anxious days and sleepless nights, and you have the tools to signal safety to your body, and you can lower your cortisol, and you absolutely can and will experience the deep, sound sleep that is your birthright. Until next time, this is Dr. Josh Shields reminding you that your best health is not behind you, it's ahead of you, and with the right knowledge and approach, it's closer than you think.